June 24th, 2025. It is a Tuesday. I'm in Norwich, Connecticut. Right now I'm on West Town Street. The reason I'm doing this video today is because it just hit 100 degrees. Couple of things. I've stress tested this camera the other day when it hit 93 degrees, but this is the hottest it's been. It's very humid, 100 degrees, no clouds, blazing sun. I want to put the ultimate test to this camera as well as drive around and grab footage. I'm just going to drive around Norwich for a while and, you know, I'll grab as much footage as I can. Let me take a quick zip through. Let me take a left here on Atrabando. I think it's Atrabando Avenue. Yeah, we'll do the whole length of Atrabando. Really cool house here to the right. I always like that. So I'm on Atrabando, and the speed limit on this road is 25 miles per hour. But whatever footage I gather, I'm going to pop it up on YouTube. I mean, again, like I said the other day, a couple of days ago, was day one of the heat wave. And I wanted to stress test my camera. You know, it's mounted on the exterior of the car, and it is absolutely blazing hot out. And for reasons unknown, we're stopped in the middle of Atrabando Avenue. I mean, I can't see ahead of me. I got a guy with a bunch of stacks of hay and a big Mack truck up there, and we're at a dead stop. I have cars behind me. It makes no sense. I'll let you know if I can figure it out when I get up there. But that's not helping the camera situation. So that turns up the stress test immediately. I mean, I just started this drive 3 or 4 minutes ago, and already, wow, there's somebody that's gonna, what the heck? I mean, that's not, I'm trying to peek around the corner here. I don't know what the deal is. If this guy is, I don't get it. He's just stopped in the road and that's it. He's blocking traffic. I don't know, unless it's a medical emergency, or, I mean, I guess I would have been planted there for the duration. So we got out of that. Temporary shutdown of the road on Atrabando Avenue in Norwich. U.S. Foods, these giant buildings to my left here, some kind of warehouses or whatever for, I would assume, distribution of food and grocery stores in this area, but I don't know for sure. And there's Hyde's Home and Farm Storage. Are they open? You know, they're closed. Okay, so I think they're out of business. More road work. Boy, what a day to do. Well, at least these guys are in the shade, but it's 100 degrees, so it's, and humid. So, shade or no shade, it's a type of situation where you have to really take your time. You gotta hydrate like crazy. You know, drink tons and tons of fluid. But this is as hot as it gets in Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut, to my knowledge. I don't know what the record is, but I mean, one of the banks earlier said 102. I don't know. You know, I question the accuracy of a bank thermometer, but I would assume it's in the ballpark. I don't know if it's, you know, National Weather Service caliber. Oh, whoa. I don't know if it's National Weather Service caliber accuracy, but when I stepped outside, according to the National Weather Service in Norwich, it was 100 degrees. So I wouldn't consider this an emergency video, but it's something I wanted to do, knowing that it's probably the hottest day this camera will ever see in Connecticut on this car. I was once at the Hoover Dam. We took a vacation and we were standing on the Hoover Dam. I think it was like 112, or it was ridiculously hot. And we got an ice cream. There was a little ice cream, like very tiny place that sold ice cream right at the Hoover Dam. Literally right there. It was like the only business in that vicinity. There's nothing around there, basically. We got the ice cream, we stepped outside, and it instantly just went into liquid. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. Should have stayed inside and ate that ice cream. But that's the hottest I've ever felt physically, But Connecticut, we don't get 115. If we did, we'd be in serious jeopardy. We're just not equipped to handle that. I don't know if the grid or the infrastructure in Connecticut could handle 115 degree temperatures without being stressed to the absolute max. It's just not a real. Again, I don't know what they calibrate for, these utility companies, but I doubt if it's something that would ever be considered for Connecticut. We're closer to the shoreline. Southeastern Connecticut is closer to the shoreline than, say, the border of Massachusetts. It could be a little warmer up there, but I'm on New London Turnpike right now, by the way. Camera thus far is operating flawlessly, believe it or not. Again, these are roads I've covered many, many times, but this will be a first. 100-degree temperatures in Norwich, driving around. Peak. This is, right now it's 2:39 p.m. The sun is high in the sky. Minimal amount of cloud, almost no clouds, but there's some very, I would say, diffuse clouds in the distance there. We're coming up upon, there's going to be a lot of work done on the left. John B. Stanton School they're constructing a new school, and then at the conclusion of that construction, they're going to demolish the current John B. Stanton School that was built in 1958 or maybe 57, if I'm not mistaken. But there's going to be a lot of construction going on there for the next year or two. Right now they're working near the road. That's not going to happen for long. Once they get that taken care of, the school's going to be, deep off the road, well off the road. So I'm sure the neighbors and folks like that will hear the sound and the noise of the construction, but it's just not going to be right on New London Turnpike. I think I'll take a left onto, let me go left. Let me go left onto West Thames. West Main Street. And maybe I'll head through the city briefly. I could go over Laurel Hill. I can do anything I want. This is a stress test, a I'm putting the maximum amount of pressure, at least from a heat standpoint, on this camera that Connecticut can throw at it. Humidity, check. Blazing hot temperatures, 100-degree temperatures, check. That's a recipe for a camera shutting down because of thermal issues internally. These cameras, I shoot in 4K high resolution video. These cameras heat up in any conditions. I don't care what, I could be driving around right now 50 degrees, and when you touch a camera, I'm doing 60 frames per second. I'm not going to get too crazy technical here, but I'm shooting 60 frames per second on this camera at 4K ultra high resolution video. I'm putting the maximum amount of pressure this camera will handle internally, and I'm also throwing the maximum amount of pressure on this camera externally by the 100-degree high humidity conditions. If you ever film in 4K and you feel a camera after, say, 10 minutes of continuous shooting. Now, if you do clips, it's not going to heat up that much. A 30-second clip, a 20-second clip, 2-minute clip, it's not going to really heat up that much. But if I'm doing, hour-long, 2-hour-long videos here, if you touch the camera, any camera that is, I have no idea what this person in front of me is doing here. Okay. He seemed a little bit confused. But if you put that kind of pressure on a camera internally, 4K, 60p, I mean, some cameras have 120 frames per second, which is insane, but that would be for ultra, super slow motion. You could slow down a drop of water coming out of a faucet. It would take a long time. You could see how slow it was. It's not something I would ever use. They would just be for like real specialty purposes or whatever. But I've got to keep my eyes open here. There's a lot of traffic. If you physically hold the camera in your hand after doing, let's say, an hour-long, you could put the camera down on the ground and just turn it on at 4K, have it record video, and it would be absolutely blazing hot in your hand. I mean, it's almost like, it's not like touching a stove or anything, but it's noticeably hot. I mean, people, they often remark, like when they have these cameras, they're like, whoa, for the first time, this would be for a new user. And they would grab the camera and they say, I think there's something wrong with my camera. You can read the forums on the internet, Reddit forums or wherever. And people will be talking about this all the time. These are new users, and other folks will just say, don't worry about it. That's the nature of the, high resolution video with high frame rates. The heat sinking capacity is limited because these cameras are very small. A larger camera, actually some of them have built-in not only heat sinks like metal fins, but they have little fans. The fans are dead quiet, but it blows out the heat. The Sony FX3 comes to mind if you're into video cameras. By the way, on the right, very interesting, that Marina Towers building is in the process of being demolished. You can see it to the right. Take a real good look at it. I have several full comprehensive videos about the building, and I'll cover more of it as demolition proceeds. The building will be completely gone in July. I don't know what date in July specifically, but it'll be completely gone in July. Back to the camera heat. If you hold it in your hand, it's hot. People complain about it. Heat sinks, I talked about all that. It's a lot of technical information. Some people may not be interested, but I have been asked in the past on my you know, in the comments section of the this channel. Actually, I'll just go around the city real quick. Maybe I'll go up Laurel Hill. So far, so good. The camera's holding up. But that's some of the technical aspects of filming, not film, but, you know, recording video in high definition. That's why, you know, you'll see a lot of skiers use these cameras, little GoPro or DJI Osmo 5 or whatever the model number is. They'll just attach that to their, I don't know, helmet or whatever way they attach these things. Sometimes maybe to their vest or, and they're skiing, so they're in conditions, high wind, you know, or high velocity air moving over the camera as they go down these big mountains and things that they're skiing down. And so I'm on Main Street, Norwich, right now, by the way, right in the heart of Down City, Norwich, downtown Norwich. I call it Down City. That's just part of when I was a kid. Everybody called this area Down City. I'm going Down City. I think it's a cultural Norwich thing that goes back many, many decades. But the skiers have like a built-in cooling system with the air being so cold and the wind, you know, the velocity of the air going over that, in many cases, GoPro. Let me turn right, go over the viaduct. And let me glance at that camera. It's still going. So I'm in the sun again right now. This has, you know, been operating for I don't know how many minutes, but 20 or 15, whatever the amount of time I've been out here. And right now, again, when I stop, that's when the sun, the metal under it, everything, all factors are, you know, just cranking up the high stress and the conditions that would make any camera, any device, audio recorder, anything, shut down. Now, I fully expect this thing at some point to shut down, and then, you know, I'll upload the video anyways, but I fully expect this thing to shut down. If it doesn't, then, man, that's a testament to this particular camera. Now, at times, this happens to be an older, not old, but it's not a new edition or anything like that. It's a GoPro 8, version 8. I think the latest one might be 15. I'm not sure about that. The problem that I run into with the more modern, the picture wouldn't be any different in my opinion. The clarity, the definition wouldn't be any different. In my opinion, that anybody watching, let's see this YouTube video right now, if somebody had if it was a blind test side by side, somebody had a GoPro 8 or even a 7 or whatever, as long as it's 4K, side by side with a brand new GoPro, just GoPro 15, whatever number it is, I lose track, you would notice a difference. No, the layman, the average guy on the street, unless you're, you know, a technical person that is looking at pixels, and even then you'd have a tough time if you didn't know which camera was which. In my opinion. Others may differ. But that's, I think, backed up by, you know, factual reports and data that I've read. The thing that does not thrill me, this is turning into a very technical video, but whatever. I'm just driving around, so the guys, the techies out there that have been longing for this type of discussion, this one's for you guys and gals. I don't like the latest edition or the last several editions personally, because GoPro makes it difficult to use an external battery. I use an external battery with a cord plugged into the side of this thing, a USB-C cord, on an external battery that I happen to put underneath my hood. It fits under there. I close the hood, and it's protected from the elements. And think, well, it's somewhat protected from the elements. It's not protected from the heat, really. It's very hot under there right now. GoPro does not allow external batteries, at least from, unless maybe it's a company, maybe it's GoPro sells a particular battery that would work, an external battery that would work, but most people don't want to buy that. They tend to be very high priced. I'm on Laurel Hill Road right now. They tend to be very high priced batteries compared to other really good companies like Anker, Anker. They make phenomenal batteries. I'm using one right now. If I went to use that with a GoPro 15, the GoPro would not work. It would not let me get past a certain point. There'll be a thing that comes up on the screen saying, you know, this will not operate, or whatever the word, the terminology in that little window that pops up. So I don't like that. I mean, there's firmware hacks you can do to get it to work. I don't like that. I like native, you know, software and all that. I'm not into monkeying around with some third-party thing that could screw up the camera permanently. Okay, I'm on the grounds, former Norwich Hospital grounds. I mean, it looks absolutely atrocious. It's growing. I have full-blown comprehensive videos of me walking around grounds, pointing out buildings. I highly recommend, if you're into this, I mean, I haven't been down here in a while. This is like really extremely overgrown. I mean, nobody's doing a thing as far as mowing. But I mean, I'm in Preston right now, briefly. I'm going to work my way back to Norwich. I said I'd stick around in Norwich, but Laurel Hill does temporarily put out onto this, this is called Military Highway, technically, according to my GPS right now. So I would be right in front of the Kettle building, which is no longer there. Got a red light. Okay, it's green. I'm going to go over, let me think here. Yeah, I'll take a right up here. I'll go over the Thames River. Maybe I'll drive through the casino. We got Mohegan Sun Casino over here. All the heat on that glass building, the big tower down there. Take a ride over. My camera is operating at the moment. I don't know that it's recording video. I know that it's on. Sometimes the video can stop recording. It's, you know, in super hot temperatures. As I mentioned in my other video the other day, I have had cold issues where it's like, you know, in the single digits where it has shut down. But I think there's a workaround I think I might be able to do. That's a mechanical thing that I can work with that might solve that problem. But okay, so we're heading over the Mohegan-Pequot Bridge momentarily. People seem to be decelerating here for some reason. But technically I'm in Preston at the moment, and the Thames River is below us right now. So if this bridge happened to collapse right now, I would end up in the Thames River. Okay, now we're crossing over into Montville. We're in Montville. It's very temporarily we'll be in Montville. Let me take a cruise through. I'll get off exit 6, Mohegan Sun Boulevard. Uncasville section of Montville. So let me get my bearings up here. This isn't a road I frequently take. Oh yeah, this is a real good view, but I don't think it's... Let me see if it's accessible to traffic, because I'd love to drive down that hill. Of course, this is a casino. They have security, and they may be less than thrilled about me driving around with a camera on my car. All right, this is open. I don't know. This is never open. But this gives me a good chance to get a beautiful view of the Thames River. I mean, that's panoramic Thames River view right there. I'm going to drive real slow. There's nobody behind me. Bonus footage. Did not expect this. There's the Mohegan Sun Tower to the left. The beautiful Thames River. And I'm going to turn around down here because this is just some, I don't know, overflow parking lot maybe, or whatever it is. That's been blocked off for years back there. I've tried to do this before, but it's been, yeah, this just, do not enter. So I'm just going to turn around. There's nobody coming either way. And I'll just... Wow, there's a good view of... There's an old building. I believe it's the Ray building at Norwich Hospital. You guys can't see it. I'm looking to my left. Yeah, that's the Ray building. Well, let me think here for a second. Yes, that is the Ray building. There's a really nice view of the Ray building from this vantage point. So I was glad. That's kind of, like I say, that's kind of a bonus. I'm glad we got that in. I think I can go right on red here. So there's nobody coming. All right, so down here we should get a decent view of the tower, I hope. So when I turn right, this is going to bank to the right. The tower should be, yeah, there it is. We get a direct view. Now that's absorbing some heat today. There's some, dynamics for, a meteorologist or a physicist or somebody to, take a look at and think about how much heat that's absorbing. I mean, the glass, it does have some reflective properties, but I'm no expert, but it's going to deflect some of the heat. If it was a darker color, if it was a very, a black roof or whatever, would absorb a tremendous amount of heat. Okay, so I'm going to work my way out of the Mohegan Sun complex, which is in Uncasville. It's in Montville, the Uncasville section of Montville, Connecticut. And I'll go up the road here, take a right, and just quickly get out of Uncasville back into Norwich. Oh, wait a second for this red light. And the camera's still operating. It's still on. Is it recording video? I won't know that till I get home. There is a light in the left corner that blinks on and off. It's called a tally light. You can turn that off if you want. I just have mine going, but I can't. It's so bright. The sun is so bright on the camera right now that I cannot tell if that tally light is actually blinking at the moment. At night you can see it, or towards the evening you can see the tally light very easily, very clearly. In very bright light you can't see it at all. I mean, if a passenger maybe had a different angle on it, I don't know. I don't think so. As we patiently wait for this light to turn green, which it did. And we're going to work our way out of here. Now, we're just at a red light. Those are the maximum pressure points that you could put on any device, like a camera or an audio recording device. And the camera appears to be still operating at the moment. All right, so down here there should be a sign that says entering Norwich, because we're close, like we're right on the border of Montville. Another red light to put this thing under pressure. You know, look, that's why I'm doing this. I want the absolute maximum pressure on this without, you know, destroying the camera. It does have protective mechanisms built in where, you know, if things get too hot or out of control on the camera, it'll just, for safety purposes, shut down. And that's, you know, will protect the circuitry from basically frying and ruining the camera. So you wouldn't be able to use it anymore. It would be this. I'd do one drive today and it would be, you know, I'd have to buy a new one. But so far things seem to be, I'm going to assume it's recording. Now my audio, since did a lot of technical talk, I'll do some more. The audio on this is recorded separately. Obviously, I'm not talking anywhere near that thing. It's on the camera's on the outside of the vehicle. And wind, now those cameras record audio. If I was inside and I talked at, you know, facing the camera and talked towards the lens, there are microphones on there, stereo microphones or mono, depending on how you set it up, that record audio, and it's not bad. It's acceptable. It's, you know, you can understand what the person's saying. It's clear. Depends on the room and the you know, the echo, and the large rooms have a different sound than small rooms with carpeting or hollow, or there's a lot of different factors involved. But this thing right now, this camera that is on this car right now, is recording audio. Basically, it's just wind. It's the sound would be awful. It would be just, if you ever heard high wind over a microphone, it's not, microphones aren't designed to do that. If you ever saw somebody like interview a politician or whatever, they have a microphone that they hold on a boom, a big long arm outside, and the microphone will be sticking down towards the person that's speaking outdoors, and it'll have a furry thing over the microphone. The whole, you don't even know it's a mic. You look, you say, what is that furry thing? Most people don't notice because they're kind of immune to seeing that. But it's this furry thing that muffles the wind, and there's no problem with wind. I mean, unless it's 60 miles, and I mean, nobody's going to be doing interviews in a 60-mile-an-hour wind situation. But most days are there's a little breeze, and any microphone, it's just a thin little ribbon that gets vibrated around, so the wind vibrates that little ribbon, and it distorts everything. The person will be talking, but everything is distorted and ruined. If you go on YouTube right now and, you know, do a search for wind distorted audio, and maybe there'll be before and after examples with one of those furry wind screens that I'm talking about. So that's the audio that would be, I would literally be, I don't know what is, there's another guy that's, people just seem to stop in the middle of the road, and that's kind of an unusual trend that's been going on here. The heat's getting to people. I'm turning off of Dunham Street up onto Elizabeth Street at the moment. And St. Peter and Paul Church is up here on the left. I have a full comprehensive video of covering all the grounds. I walk around, I talk about it. Stations of the Cross, right there on the left. If you're interested in St. Peter and Paul Church, boom, I got you covered. But anyways, the audio on the outside that is being captured by that camera right now is completely distorted and absolutely horrible. It's just, you wouldn't be able, if I put it up there, you'd say, this guy is, I can't watch another second of this video unless I turn the volume off completely. So I am inside of a car, which, by the way, is almost like being in a studio, because inside of cars have carpeting, they have like a felt material on the ceiling, and if you look around a car, you'll see a lot of, just material. So that's absorbent, and that gets away from, that eliminates like kind of a echoey, reverby sound. So if you ever want to record anything, go out, sit in your car, like if you have a garage or whatever, sit in your car and do the recording there. And it's like sitting in, every car is like a little studio. It's like a little audio studio. So obviously I do get sounds, like right now I have my turn signal on. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's, little clicking sound in the background. There, it just turned off. You probably heard that. The microphone that I have right now actually goes over my ear. It's a very tiny microphone. It's made by, it's called a Countryman E6. They're kind of pricey, okay? They're expensive. A lot of times you'll see people that give TED Talks, or maybe a religious, like a pastor at a mega church or something, will have it's a hands-free microphone, little tiny thing. It weighs nothing. I mean, it's ounces. It goes around your ear, and there's a little microphone that comes out, and you talk, and it's, the closer the microphone is to the mouth, the better the potential sound. I am on Mechanic Street on the west side right now. This is turning into a big technical video, and let's let it rip. So, okay, there's a view up here. Let's take a ride. All right, I'm on Mopsic Street, and I think I'm going to be taking a left on High Street, if I'm not mistaken. So the head-worn microphone, it's just a little tiny little thing. They're great. I wouldn't spend the money that I did if I was. I mean, I love it. The sound quality is phenomenal. I mean, but they're pricey. Maybe I'd buy a used one if I were you. Or there are other models that are dramatically cheaper that probably sound close to this, and the average person listening to videos on YouTube, or anywhere for that matter, podcast, whatever it may be, would never in a million years notice the difference. Okay? Just not going to happen. I'm at a large insurance company. Let me pull up here. Visitor parking. I think there's a view of the city up here. I'm just going to glance at it if I can do it. Don't know, because there's hedges, and I don't think we can see over the hedges. Let me get down to the next layer. Yeah, we're just looking at a bunch of shrubs. Maybe you can see the city way off in the distance, but there's trees and things. I come up here in the winter, and there's no leaves on the trees. I can see everything perfectly. I've done it before. There's videos that I have on my channel right now. Guys, I mean, I've covered Norwich and the surrounding area in a, almost pathological way. Okay, here's a good spot right here. Beautiful. So there's the city of Norwich from an elevated position. American ambulance directly in front of us. To the extreme right is the Norwich Harbor. And, assorted buildings and Flatiron Building. That other building I mentioned that's going to be demolished is down slightly to the left in this frame. All right, that's a good view. And there's a couple of clouds up there, not much. As we hit, 100 degrees, 99, 100, these are big numbers. All right, back to the techie discussion about the audio. So, the head-worn mic, I personally would recommend, I don't know, I would have to look it up. If anybody wants recommendations, I haven't really studied this lately, but when I was buying this particular microphone, I did study things and evaluate things quite extensively. And there is a company, I think it's an independent company or a small business in the United States that makes microphones that are dramatically cheaper than this one that will sound identical. There won't be any difference. Technical differences on spreadsheets. Okay, let me drive up Summit Street. On spreadsheets with, audio analysis done by, computer measurements and things. Okay, this one's going to be better. It's going to be technically superior. There's no doubt about it. No one will be able to tell the difference. I guarantee it. Unless you are some kind of a conductor at a symphony, or I don't know. It would have to be somebody with an incredible ear. There are people out there in the world like that. Audiophiles and certain folks. This is a very tiny, portion of the population that has the capabilities to discern between this microphone and a cheaper microphone. When I say the average person, I mean literally everybody except these exceptional audiophiles would be able to figure out there was a different sound. Besides, you can manipulate these you can manipulate the audio. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Hang on. Okay. So we got a head-worn mic. That goes into I personally have something called a Tentacle Track E. Okay, this is Gear Avenue. Or I'm going to be getting on Gear Avenue. I have a Tentacle Track E. That's another kind of expensive. You don't have to spend that kind of money. It's made in Germany by hand. I'm on Gear Avenue. Let me turn down Woodmansee Avenue. That is a German little tiny thing. It fits in the palm of your hand. Excuse me. It fits in the palm of your hand. It is 32-bit float audio. Okay? Now I'm getting real technical. What does 32 float bit audio mean? They used to have 16-bit audio and then 24-bit audio. That gives you a wider dynamic range. 32-bit audio. Let me see if I can... I'm going to try to work my way out of here. 32-bit float audio gives you a tremendous dynamic range, meaning you can hear, like if I'm recording something, let's say I'm in the woods out in the middle of nowhere and I'm recording birds and just the sound of nature. People do this, it's a hobby. I'm recording the nature sounds of bugs, crickets, just the ambience of the wooded area that the person is in. Let's say the person's 25 miles away from any city or any industrial sound. They're way out there. All right, let me try to figure out where to go here. I'm trying to work my way back over to Elizabeth Street area. I don't think, well, let's see if Gear Avenue does that. I don't think so. Nope, Gear Avenue just kind of ends. Well, let me turn around. I might have another shot of getting out of here. Anyways, 32-bit float. Okay. So you have tremendous dynamic ranges. 25 miles out in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness, and you're recording audio. And you get crickets, and it's real dead quiet, but you're making a beautiful, you have, $4,000 microphones, and you're doing this incredible recording, but it's very quiet, and you have it adjusted accordingly. You have the levels on your recording device adjusted so you can pick up, bugs and all this crickets and all little tiny little sounds birds make and everything. All of a sudden, a crack of lightning strikes. Let me take a left down. Oh yeah, these apartments. Hang on a minute. Look both ways. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick drive around these brand new apartments. This apartment complex, right there. The old one, Peachtree Apartments, burned to the ground, and these replaced it. This lot, this area sat vacant for many, many years. And these new apartments here that are absolutely beautiful have replaced that complex. There's a swimming pool over there, right there in front of us, and people are appropriately swimming in it. It's 100 degrees. So 32-bit, so you get a crack of lightning, you're out in the middle of the woods recording crickets and birds and bugs and ambient sound, ambiance. And a crack of thunder hits. So normally, with your level set and everything, the crack of thunder and the loud sounds is dramatically louder than a cricket. So how does a recording device capture all of that dynamic range? Dynamic range being the difference between the quietest sound and the largest and the loudest sound. So the quietest sound is the cricket, let's say that, the distant cricket. The loudest sound is a crack of thunder. It's incredibly loud. It's 100 and whatever decibels. It's ear-piercing, depending on how close it is. It's very difficult, if not impossible. 24-bit probably wouldn't be able to capture all of that without distortion. In other words, the thunder clap would be extremely distorted, and it would ruin the recording. You'd have to edit it out. I don't know what you would do. You would just cut that out of the recording. It's doable, but I mean, if you want a continuous, a lot of guys that do nature recordings don't want to be editing by cutting and splicing things together. They'll do it. I don't know. That's not my wheelhouse, but I assume sometimes you have to do that. 32-bit allows you to record all of that data from the cricket to the thunder, the crack of thunder, and not lose any of the information. You have all the audio information. When you take it into your software, you can make adjustments, and it won't ruin the quality of the audio in any way at all. Okay, hang on a second. I'm on West Main Street again. I'm going to work my way, I'll go down to Asylum Street. I think, yeah, let me get down to Asylum. I mean, it's blistering. There it is, the bank, right to the right, Chelsea Bank, 101. Again, I question the accuracy of those things, but it's, it's extremely hot right now. So the 32-bit recording is able to capture everything. You would take it into, what I do is I take the recording into something called a DAW, a digital audio workstation, sometimes referred to as a DAW, DAW, DAW. That's what the industry calls, Pro Tools would be one that's quite well known. Apple has Logic. Logic Pro is a very good, very popular. GarageBand is one. That's, the higher end would be Pro Tools. Almost every big-time professional uses that. Studios and, Columbia Records, whoever, would use Pro Tools, which is controversial. I don't want to get into that right now, but maybe I will in a little while. I don't have that much time. I got to get back home. So far, the camera's still working. But the 32-bit data or audio recording, this one, for example, I use something called Reaper. It's kind of free. There's a free trial. It could be free if you don't pay. I paid $65 for it. I believe that's what it costs. It's a one-time fee, and you get upgrades for life, and it's a phenomenal piece of equipment. I'm on Asylum Street right now. Just turned on to Asylum. It's a phenomenal piece of equipment, or I should say, software. Very difficult to understand at first. When you open up Reaper, you got to take tutorials on YouTube or on the web or whatever, but once you get down the basics, that's all I need. I don't need to get into heavy editing and studio, band mixing of instruments and vocals. I just do me talking. I make certain adjustments, equalizing and whatever. It doesn't take long, but I will never have it. I don't need 32-bit, but this is a guarantee. A 32-bit is, you don't have to worry about anything. There's never going to be any distortion. There's never going to be any clipping. Clipping would be when I say distortion, that would be the technical term for you got problems with your audio, would be the clipping factor. If I get clipping on this, if I wanted to, this entire audio that I'm recording right now could be totally clipped, brutally, and I would bring it into Reaper, that digital audio workstation on my computer, make a minor adjustment that would take me, I would right-click and one other click, and this thing would be no more distortion, no more clipping, it's all gone. It's like magic. 32-bit is like magic. 32-bit audio is like a miracle, okay? It really is. So that's what I use, that Tentacle Track E with this Countryman E6, attaches to your ear. The microphone's an inch away from my mouth, which is ideal, because if it's too far, it's gonna sound lousy. Trust me. If the microphone, even in the car, is too far away from you, it's gonna sound not that great. You're gonna start getting these weird effects. I'm not gonna get even more technical, but you're gonna start getting these weird effects that make it unpleasant to listen to. So if a lot of people have commented that they really enjoy the audio portions of this narration that I'm doing in this video. They enjoy the sound quality of it. I just gave you my recipe for everything. For the folks that, it's too technical for the average viewer. I'm sure a lot of people watching this thing right now are bored out of their mind. But I may as well get all the technical stuff out. This is my, full workflow. Reaper for audio. Then after that, you export the audio. It is then converted to 24-bit. I then use that audio. I have a separate audio track and separate video. I get rid of the audio that is connected to the video camera, that is all that wind noise and everything that's recording right now. I'm driving by Bacchus on my left. As we speak, this thing is recording all kind of really harsh. It's clipping. The whole time it's clipping. Wind is just going over that microphone and clipping everything. Terrible sound. And I won't include any of it because it's just horrible. I take that audio and I delete it. So I take there'll be a video. There'll be like this car in front of me, and I'm just got a green light. I'm driving along. I will take all these files, video and audio files, into Final Cut Pro. That is my video editor of choice. I've used it for many, many years. I like it. It just works for me. I would right-click on the audio, on the video, and there is a selection, and it will say separate audio from video. So now I have a video track and an audio track. I then delete. I'm going to take a right onto Harlan Road temporarily right now. So I'm on Harlan Road in Norwich, Connecticut, Norwich Town section. I would delete that audio that I'm recording on the exterior of the car right now. Deleted, in the trash, gone. I don't care about it, never use it, it's meaningless. I take this talking that I'm doing right now, this narration, and I bring it into Final Cut Pro. The files are all there. I place the audio and the video. I highlight them. I click on the video clip and the audio clip. These are one-take videos. I don't do a lot of it. Cutting. I rarely do cutting. And I synchronize the separate audio and the separate video. I synchronize them together so I get the talking portion over the video that matches, that goes along. Like right now I'm driving by, let me take a look. To my right is Countryman Road. Now if this was out of sync, I might say right now, oh, I'm driving by Countryman Road, but it would be inaccurate because it would be out of sync. That's why it's very important to sync the audio and video accurately. How do I do that? When I first turn the audio recorder on and the video recorder on, I talk, I'll say something, testing 1, 2, 3, whatever, where the camera can see me talking. You know, it's my face, and you can see that I'm talking on camera. And I'll say testing 1, 2, 3, whatever I say. And I will then, after I say those whatever words, I will clap 10 times, pretty hard, you know, like real loud clap. Before movies, they have this board with a little thing on top. They hold it in front of the movie and they go, take 2, snap, and the board claps down. That's to sync the audio and the video. If anybody never knew that, that's a part of what that operation is. As I drive down Wayne Street in Norwich, Connecticut. So I sync the audio and video up. Now, sometimes it will not sync. Final Cut Pro won't be able to sync it because there's tons of information and it has trouble or whatever. But the clapping usually does it. But if it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't, then you have to manually do it. And it's not hard to do. You just move the audio. There's waves that you see. There's visual. I'm going to get out on the Canterbury Turnpike here in a second. I got to look around the corner. There's video and audio waves. Or actually, it's audio in both. You know, the exterior audio and the audio that I'm recording now, the voice audio. Then you just match up the clapping that I did, the clap, 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 the 10 claps. You match up, that's a spike. You'll see a line going, a horizontal line. All of a sudden, it'll spike vertically 10 times. You match up those 10 spikes together perfectly, and then that's manually aligning the verbal narration that I'm doing right now inside the car with the exterior video. It's perfectly synced. All of this stuff sounds extremely complicated, It doesn't have to be as complicated as I'm making it sound. I mean, this took me years to kind of fine-tune and hone down here, where I can do it blindfolded. It's a system. I don't even think about it. As I drive down Canterbury Turnpike, I don't even think about it. It's simple. I can do it, in my sleep. When you first do it, you're like, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. There are easier routes to doing this. They have a wireless system now where I think it's DJI mics. You'd have to have a DJI camera, whatever. And it's wireless in the audio. That's 32-bit audio, but it's baked into the video, and it's synced perfectly. You never have to worry about anything. All right, I'm on East Town Street. This video is going to end soon. The camera is operating. It's 100 degrees. My car says 99. This thing is not accurate at all. But it's 99, 100, 101, the bank said. So we're in the 100-degree range. This entire drive's been 100 degrees, high humidity, punishing conditions for a camera, and it's still rocking. I mean, that's hard to complain about that situation. All right, let me see what I'm going to do here. Yeah, let's roll down the road a little bit more, but I'm definitely heading home. So all of that complicated stuff, this video is a lot of technical jargon and maybe excruciatingly boring for a lot of people. If there was a way for me to put an audio track where you could choose either the narration or the audio, I wish I could do it, but there isn't. I don't think YouTube is that sophisticated at the moment, but I'm sure in the future it will be. All right, let's get down here. Again, East Town Street, Norwich Town section of Norwich, Connecticut. Meeting House rocks to my right. That's all the technical stuff that I do. And then when you're done, you look at the video. There's other elements you have to put in the title screen and you may make some tweaks to the video. You might, the contrast, the color, whatever. I mean, that's another issue, but some fine tuning. But I'm talking about the overall major components of putting one of these videos together. That's what I do. Separate audio recording inside the vehicle, separate video on the exterior of the video. And sync together in software after making all your adjustments. You put on a opening, this is, let's say I drive down to Ocean Beach. This is a drive from Norwich to Ocean Beach. You date it. You do whatever you want. You write anything you want. It's your video. You can write anything you want. You don't even have to have an opening thing. Some people just start the video, they right into it. And then at the end, you can put a little thing that says the end. You can put anything you want. It's your thing. So you can do that in Final Cut Pro. It's simple to do. As I'm driving down West Town Street at the moment. But that's pretty much, okay, that's the stress test that we put on this camera today. It seems to be working. I'll find out shortly when I get home. Whether it's actually recording video, I don't know. It's on, but is it actually technically recording the video? Maybe it is. Maybe I only recorded 5 minutes of video when it shut off. I'll find out soon enough. But I give tons and tons of technical information today about my process. I've talked about how I mount the camera to the car in the past. Today I talked about how I edit the video and audio together to get what you're seeing and hearing right now. That is, I could get more technical. I could get more specific, but that's a broad brush, big picture situation of how I do a video such as the one that you're watching at this very moment. If you're still with me, and if you're still with me. You just heard what I said, obviously, so that's good. I'm going to go up the road a little bit here. I'm going to let this gentleman, well, okay, he's letting him go. I was going to be a good Samaritan and let that gentleman go, but the guy in front of me in the Subaru did that. But that's it. The stress test is completed, and the technical jargon that I've been dishing out here is coming to a close here. So let's see what happens. I'm going to fire this thing up in the software soon enough. That's the end of the video.